Right. Well, these are my short stories. I've written a number of novels, and those, of course, always have to be planned, detailed well ahead. One of the things I like about the short story form is that it seems to me something that you go into fairly quickly and come out of fairly quickly, so that many of these stories occurred to me one day and I would write them the next. I don't write the long short story, the Chekhov story which goes on for 30,000 words. I write short stories which are between 5,000 and 10,000 words usually. And they arise out of events which strike me, so that if we take a story like When Childhood Ends, this actually arose from a visit from a friend of mine from Belgium, Henri Slivowski, who came to, and we were having dinner, and somebody said, "When does childhood end?" And he said, "It ended for me when the Germans entered Brussels in 1941. So, and that little anecdote, and then he told us in 2 minutes what happened to him, that little anecdote led me to write that short story. Another example of that is one of the stories which is about a completely different story called the gloves story. And that story again started from a random episode when somebody was talking about drawing. Two artists were in the room, and one of them said that you shouldn't get a model, you should draw your partner. And the other one said, well, the partner might not want to be drawn, and I would draw my partner. She was also an artist. She omitted to mention the fact that actually her artwork is all abstract, so she's never drawn her partner. Whereas the other artist present had wanted to draw her partner, but clearly hadn't. Well, that led to the story called The Magazine des Gants, which is a story about gloves, you might say, but actually it's a story about sexuality, and it's also about bisexuality, it's about a lot of things. But it all came into my head fairly quickly after that chance event which led me to think about it. And of course, Memoirs of a Gone World, which is the title of the story, came to my mind when I was thinking, during the Vietnam War this was, because this is a very early story, about the fact that the whole world seemed to be collapsing. And then I thought, it's gone, the world, it's not going to exist much longer if we go on as things are. And so I came up with Memoirs of a Gone World, and that led me to the whole text for the story. So many of these stories, are, as I say, are almost flash in the pans. They're something which comes to me quite quickly, and I can write fairly fast, which is helpful in giving the story, I think, continuity. Whereas, of course, if you're writing on novels, my novels which have come out, that requires you to work much more slowly because you have to construct the whole thing, you have to write notes and so on. But the nice thing about a short story for me is that you can think about it, you can produce it, and you can write something very direct, and it, I hope, has immediacy for the reader. It's something that will, I hope, strike them instantly as it struck me instantly.